selalu nongkrong di sini.
Harusnya ini jadi
But for a while. And really just one of the more underrated heroes, it feels like, in this patch right now.
You have 10
Even though
seconds
it's picked a
left.
bunch. But I think
feel it's banned a lot.
Yeah,
The-
it's
you
have
it's
5
bang
seconds
well.
left.
the nerf to Bat was a huge buff to Timbersaw.
I think it was still always as strong. Of course, what you're saying about Batrider is very true. I think Timbersaw as a hero, though, is always been a very big nuisance in this patch so far. It's always been present in everyone's mind. Like when you think of like the offlaners, it's Bristle, Tide, and Timber. There's always been kind of the narrative for most of these panels.
It just wins lanes so consistently. Makes the game really hard. It makes drafting a lot harder too.
Especially if Secret did want to run this as a carry IO plus Tusk 5, this lane's going to feel like nothing.
have 10
to
seconds
Timbersaw.
left.
Maybe level 1, level 2, they'll be pretty strong. If they try lane it
You
and
have
go
5
aggressive with
seconds
Tusk, they
left.
can of course kill
Red
Timber 2
team
lanes.
banned.
But when Timber gets to level 3 plus, the whole kind of story of that lane changes where he kind of becomes self-sufficient and Earthbreak gets to play out into the map.
I'm just honestly, it worked, but
There's no alchemist.
we had 2 out games, erased them from memory. Now it's 1
You have 10
BO1
seconds
remaining.
left.
It's a single game, Carl.
One
a
game.
best of one.
Secret wins, they get a
You
clean
have
sweep.
5
It is
seconds
Shiva.
left.
It really is not.
OG need to guarantee their spot at TM.
OG has to win a single game
Just
to
one
get to
single game.
one best of one. And Purge will
It's
agree
not a
as
best
well.
of one. It's one game of the last game of the best of 3. Purge will agree with me, hopefully. But last time,
What do you
he
guys
dodged
think
it.
about Grimstroke?
like that?
You have to.
Ban.
The shield's too good.
It's a very good hero to pair with the Earth Spirit. I'm thinking about heroes that secure lanes and then suddenly play together into the map. So that's kind of the idea of this ban.
And you also have a ton of space. It's like the game Insani was playing it against Nigma, where you never really feel pressure because of these 2 strength heroes with a billion health just crushing everything in front of them.
Also, Topson plays at mid with the E-Blade. If you pair that with the Earth Spirit as well, now very, very strong. And a bind. Oof. So many options here with this Grimstroke. Very good ban from Secret.
Very nice.
A single ban.
Dire team banned.
How about the Bloodseeker single ban, if you want to continue on that train of thought?
It's stops both of these heroes, right? They can no longer play the way we were discussing, where they are now forced to stand still. They don't want to stand still. They want to run at enemies. They're strong. Their strength.
I do love how Secret, they
You have
revalue
10
this tier
seconds
super highly.
left.
In like the last 3 of their games outside of this series, pretty much when Timber
You have
playing every
5
time.
seconds left.
And also, it never really got touched in the patch. So it's the fact that Secret picks it so highly, but also bans it quite often, should be an indicator to a lot of other teams. Like, guys, this hero, it's hot. Look at it.
Blur farming Ancients is pretty nuts. Finding initiations with Blur is pretty OP. You have this awesome timing with your Battle Fury, Desto, Battle Fury BKB. Your talents are still great.
Everything's
I
pretty
think
good.
Blur is definitely. I mean, I know you said Blur like 8 times there, but like it is like the best thing about the hero in some ways because it just makes it so much harder for them to gank you as well. Because even if you are on a creep wave showing, they don't know exactly where you are, which makes initiations just completely different.
No, it's a really good point, and it's this concept of vision that is more important the higher level Dota the game is. So, because it's all about trading in information, and better teams use information more efficiently. So, just
And also, just better teams in general use vision, even observers to a high level. You know, like they won't place wards when, you know, in the moment they'll place it for the fight. They'll place it in areas that they look to move into eventually, rather than the place they currently are standing in. It's always, you know, it's a very deep game that we often don't actually get to see properly.
You have 10
or at least
seconds
it's not
left.
properly kind of analyzed because so quickly pushed through.
Yeah.
You have 5
you
seconds
probably
left.
could spend more time just analyzing and breaking down the game, at least twice as long as the actual game goes on. If you really tried to get into even just one aspect.
I mean, when we're, you know, the early stages of the game, those 4 players, the 4 supports in the game, they do so much that you could definitely just spend time only talking about them.
5 position life, perennially
You
underrated.
have 10 seconds left.
Or if your OG, it's all about Topson and what he does to make
You
all
have
those
5
supports like
seconds
this
left.
in the right game.
They ban out the tree. I think that makes sense considering you already have so much of an issue right now with damage output. And
Physical,
no tails pre armor spam did seem very effective, and they take the Weaver. I love that pick.
Very good. Yeah, it's very good.
Do bugs proc tag?
None here.
Tusk creates, not others summons. So just for future reference, like if you ever Tusk with anyone else, it's not good as if it's going to be like, whoa, damage, it's only
Question.
Tusk. Yep.
Weaver, this is the late game. Weaver is putting bugs on targets.
You have 10 seconds left.
IO.
Don't bring up the shard.
But they're on different teams,
You
Shiva.
have 5 seconds left.
Yeah, it doesn't even work.
Oh, they're in different teams.
Yeah.
Dire team.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say. I was worried you were gonna hit.
I heard the Weaver, and it's like, okay, you know what? I just assumed that it was gonna be a.
Yeah.
This secret draft is, it's very much a first pick draft because we don't really know enough about it. It's a little clunky right now, but their last 2 picks will hopefully bring it together. And in theory, it'll be either 1 and 2, or they'll decide the Wisp is core. Although I don't know if you really want to play core Wisp anymore.
You have
Any of
5
these 3 heroes,
seconds left.
it's spooky.
I want OG to pick like a strong kind of black hole counter or some counter. Like technically Wyvern here is amazing, especially against the physical damage of the Tusk, the Tether, the Enigma, but like it's such a weak hero. I'm worried.
Wyvern.
Exactly, it's like so hard to pick the hero right now. But the idea is they need to answer this black hole in some form because yeah, we've seen so many games.
It's okay against the Tusk too.
Maybe. I don't know how well good it is as a hero nowadays, but
Neither do I.
in
It's
core
not
bench.
great.
Ag Venge.
Sub 50%.
Mid Venge.
Divine Nub.
Interesting.
It's worse than it used to be for sure. You just don't have as much right click, so you have to rely on spells. So yeah, if you can cast a lot of spells and get trades and kills, then it's fine. But it's not as effective. No, Axe is good again.
This will be one of the first Enigma games that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 European play days where it, like, pretty much every time Enigma's played, we have to hit the black hole or the fight's over. Oh, they did it with Wyvern! Oi!
Very nice.
It's a very OG pick, right?
Yeah.
They've used this in a number of TI finals, and while it's a weaker hero in the patch, the laning prowess specifically is just not there anymore. The base damage is so low. To your point, it is perfect. It answers the questions you had with the draft. How do you interrupt black hole? How do you deal with the physical damage threat?
Because I was going to say, like, the point I was making about Enigma was there's been so many series where it's been Enigma versus the world, and like he isn't able to hit these black holes because all by himself. And that's why Kalian and Secret are putting themselves in that position. But I'd like to see them hit some more team fight within their draft, because if it is just Enigma versus the world, and now there's a Wyvern, there's a lot of pressure on Secret to have good lanes, especially when they're into a Timbersaw, and then rely on the Enigma in the game. Pre-Lincolns, it's going to be pretty rough.
It's pretty sick against Enigma too because Curse is even better than because of Necro summons. Everyone's buying Necro now.
Yeah.
And Winter's Curse gives you attack speed. And Necro units attack really fast.
Ooh, that is good in the lane matchup, but Ursa hates playing against Weaver Wyvern. Like, you have a BKB piercing ultimate now if it's not used on the Enigma. Weaver, in theory, sure, if the Ursa gets to a point where you have a couple of items plus Abyssal, you can in concept kill Weaver, but he has a save behind him too. Like, this is not great matchup-wise.
So yeah, OG right now, their draft really plays on kind of the greediness of Secret's heroes. They have the lane counters and kind of just the tempo they bring to the game. I think the big issue will be going into the mid to late portion. It's a lot of pressure on basically the Enigma versus Wyvern duel. Who kind of gets what spell off first, who's covering each other, and if the Ursa is able to get to 3-4 items, he can lock down this very evasive Weaver. But if he doesn't, then of course, we've seen so many times before, Weaver just runs kind of rampant across the map.
And we're still assuming that the Enigma is going to be played by Zai, correct?
I think Yapzor. I actually think Zai's going to play the Tusk.
Okay.
Yeah, position
And
5.
Puppy Wisp.
The thing is, though, because the thing is, if you think in the
Unless
past,
mid.
Puppy used to be having 3 signature heroes. It was Chen, Enchantress, and Enigma.
I feel
True.
Is it not just like a 3 and 4 IO Tusk off Enjoy?
Yeah, you're right.
Punch?
Right. Because that makes more sense than putting it on Yapzor. You just let Puppy play it in the safe lane, and it gets your Ursa that XP advantage, which is all he really needs to be able to take out Timbersaw. But if you look at these four heroes against each other, the OG damage output in threat just seems so much greater at the moment. Almost all of Secret's heroes are single target, whereas OG just kind of expels damage from their pores.
They do, but it's also damage that exists within laning phase up until 1 or 2 tanky items come out from Secret, right? Like they are kind of a level dependent lineup.
The bristle band's necessary. It's really heads up.
Trying to think. Yep.
Understand why.
What's the heads up part?
They're having a lot of fun about this last pick, by the way.
They're giggling.
They're giggling. What is it gonna be?
Something's gonna be revealed here. It's like suddenly, you know, it's Kaskin is weird role versus elsewhere. Let's find out.
Maybe the Medusa will make an appearance. It's been a while since we saw Nisha.
A clear lack of damage between the support duo pre-level 6 is a key thing that Secret can utilize, especially with this greediness of the mid lane.
Lesher? I don't know. You need damage. You need AoE damage. You'd love to have something that hits towers a bit, and a Wisp partner, right? I mean, Ursa is in theory, but
yeah, the key thing is the first 3 heroes in Secret's job leave a couple question marks because you're trying to work out what's really happening.
okay.
They just go for an Ember. Again, this weakness of the support duo moving into mid will be clear. Maybe right now Toxin's asking for the mid Earth Spirit because he sees the Ember and just wants a 1v1 duel there.
This was not a very funny pick. I don't know why they were that.
Maybe they're like something
You
else.
have 10 seconds
Roots
left.
against Timber and Weaver are excellent.
I mean, he's last.
Oh, no.
They're all laughing.
They're
You
all
have 5
laughing.
seconds left.
What is going on here? They must have
Okay, so
told each
2
other.
scenarios. Thompson's either A, asks for a really weird hero mid. Okay, A. It would have been A.
Choose your
That is
hero.
it's a pretty nasty Clinks game. You have the same issue as an Ursa against Weaver and Clinks now. How do you stick to them, especially with the threat of a Wyvern coming in? The laning matchup for Ember is rough, and Enigma also gets eaten alive by Clinks.
It is a Zaya Enigma and a Puppy Io.
Yeah, this is it. Pretty much every time we've seen Enigma in the last 3 or 4 European days, it's always been Enigma versus the world, and it kind of feels like the same thing here, where Secret needs to have this like insane entry to laning phase to open up the game. Otherwise, it is all about okay, let OG run at you, hit the black hole, and when you have this curse on top of you, Thompson getting to play the same style as game 2, then yeah, I think OG has a kind of a nicer draft for pace.
Final thoughts on the draft from you, Purge?
Like the safe lane for OG, it'll be fine against Enigma plus Tusk. Neither hero should die for the
You have
takes.
10 seconds left.
I think I like what OG has better. Their disables are weak, but
You
I
have
like the
5 seconds left.
I would agree, but keep in mind, we've only seen Weaver really succeed with the Wisp pairing.
Yeah.
That's when it looks insane. There isn't really a steroid for him this time, and it's going to come down to, I think, this mid matchup. If Ember gets ahead, then you have an Ember and Ursa, the Tether coming in, the Enigma applying pressure on the side lane. Suddenly, you just kill the squishies. Whereas if Clinks gets ahead, especially if it's an Orchid Rush or something.
Yeah, well, Thompson's showing up basically. You know, he's got his last pick once again. He's had 1 bad last pick, 1 good last pick.
Yeah.
He's got another last pick. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, this game's going to be very hard.
Feast or famine.
Okay, well for them, indeed, it is also, if they win, they are going a major without tiebreakers. Otherwise, they're going to have to go through those 3-way tiebreakers, best of ones. Very scary. Let's see how this game 3 is going to play out together with only picks 1 spot.
Yes, that deciding game 3 now between OG and Team Secret. Fogs, we've got some exciting stuff we saw, especially from OG on their faces. They look to be very excited to bring out this Thompson Clinks to close up their lineup. What do you make of this? Is this going to be a solid game from OG yet again, like we saw in game 2? We're going to see Secret hit back with the ferociousness we got to witness from them in the opening game of the series.
Well, sure, Owen. I'm seeing a lot of potential for our stuff. I'm not a huge fan of Wyvern overall as a hero, but it has been always versus Nick, so I can see why they would pick it up with that. Usually I do like to see it with some type of combo pairing. Earth Spirit's okay. It's not phenomenal though. Usually it's like some type of AoE style. Earth Spirit can at least like blanket a magnetize and a silence like stuff like that. And they at least have like Swarm as well, right? The curse plus the Swarm gets applied, then Clinks can go to town afterwards when the curse done ends. So it's not your most, you know, you're not your best combos, but at least there's something there. Secret, not the biggest item. They're still like opening it this time around, and I'm curious to see how they're gonna make it work because they've strayed away from this hero quite a lot anyway, even if it is so Secret. Not the biggest item.
Gentlemen, as we get ourselves into this third game series. What do you sort of make of the potential for mid on this game on the Weaver? I mean, as the panel pointed out, a lot of times when we have seen Weaver, it looks pretty wonderful. It has been when it's been affected by the Aya. This time around, of course, mid one, he's going to be doing it without that sort of enabling support that's going to allow him to do much outside of his own individual toolkit.
It's going to be a lot of hiding, I feel like. Beast bomb! match really being in the game. Like you have your Maleficent on, you have your tag team, you've got some root from the Ember, which I think that's why they went for this on Nisha, because they wanted to have some better forms of catch versus the Weaver. I think he could definitely like weave in and out of the fights pretty decently because there is that lack of disable. But I've literally only seen Weaver work with him. I'm the same with the panel a bit. I've been a little bit hesitant on the hero a lot of the times unless it's just like a phenomenal Weaver game, or if he has IO. So we'll see if he can make it work. And yeah, I think this one should be pretty action-packed.
Let's see. And with the lane setups, is there any sort of matchup here that you feel is going to be rather one-sided early on?
I think Timber could really suffer. I'm going to be watching bottom lane a lot because IO enables the Ursa to really be able to pick the issue versus that Timber star. I don't know how this mid matchup is. I don't think I've ever seen Clint versus Ember. Clint does pretty good versus a lot of melee matchups because you literally just hit them.
Yeah, I feel Clint's, I think Clint's going to do fine.
Yeah, that's a pretty good lane for him.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and he's just going to have to spend a lot of money on regen. So maybe he's going to be able to get these last hits, but he's going to have to spend that extra gold. So popped off. And yet eyes on stock. He's just going to pull the waves. Okay, so that's going to be the solution. Rather than having to deal with laning. Manipulate it. He's going to just follow it. He's just going to hit both. Okay. And I think they're prepared for this. You know, they have ward already placed out the on from B on the high ground. So he can follow stuff to keep tabs of him the whole just with
quite a bit of damage. From any further, but keep himself on. And then in that top lane, is this a difficult one for mid one to run into?
They should be able to clean up some Eidolons, but I think he's going to get slowed down a decent amount because it's Enigma. You know, Enigma's always going to get those free denies off, and if he's careful, he should be able to protect the Eidolons, especially at this early level. No, he doesn't have Splinter Bells. Once he starts getting Splinter Bells, they come into the first few levels. They wouldn't work.
Top lane, talking about Zion on the Enigma, does this sort of strike you as a pretty solid Enigma game?
Yeah, looks real good. Very strong versus Timbersaw always. Like it a lot versus Wyvern pretty much at all stages in the game too. They both kind of counteract each other a lot, so I do like it. Just a super strong hero right now. He's just taking an absolute beating in the lane. So he's like we said, he's got 13 last hits. He's holding his own, but yeah, he's gonna have to spend a little extra on that. Bottles here might have to bring extra. And I'm looking at the OG. Look at this top lane. 3 sets to protect the Weaver and just to protect maybe these like camps so they can try to get him pulls because Yapsor is being a nuisance. He's always just gonna walk over inside. Now no tail.
Getting a little low here on the mid lane. Such a discharge Venetia able to hold back with the chains.
There's a reason we don't see Wyvern too often. Is how weak he really can be in that laning aspect. Every time your Arctic Burn is used, you're just a liability. You're just really at risk of every time. Yapsor again, it's a level 1, but the most important thing he has to do in the game is block. Lane. They will be able to get the Sentry Ward themselves. Now no tail though, in some trouble. Yapsor on him again.
Yapsor pretty much able to walk in aggressively and step out with his boots and wooden lace. They never really want to waste time chasing him. He has a lot of free damage in on the 2 of them.
I think they're getting pretty low up here though. Do they reach it together? They can't get on. Okay, they have a courier coming out with 1 set of tangos, but they're quite low. He's gonna start whittling them down pretty effectively. Mid one?
They're about to hit 2 on Yap.
Still level 1. He now hits 2. And oh yeah, No-Tail has to go back to base. So he's running all the way back and mid one. That's gonna leave him pretty at top.
Got the 4-minute rune. Big down bottom. He's not going to be able to pick this one.
Light it.
Can he go for the slide play?
Try.
He tries, but Saxa grab that and make sure that Nisha doesn't get
10k game senses. And as their Spirit leaves the bottom lane, Seb was actually doing pretty well down here, but as soon as their Spirit leaves, he starts to get pressured. And an interesting item build from Seb. He's actually got double. It's kind of rare. I don't see that. Mid. go for Thompson.
With the rock, but he is able to land the kick.
The dream to support. Your mid laner dies. You TP and you get that experience. Very nice for Saksa. Good issue from Puppy. Something expected the IO making that TP move early on. He did see him. Good. His eye is getting away with it. He's getting just full free farm up top. That's huge. A lot of the times when you see Enigmas, they start to get pushed away, especially when it comes to secondary support starts to leave him. His eye hasn't happened to him. He's denying his Eidolons nicely.
I feel what sort of a big part of the reason why he's sort of play this well up top is because the No-Tail can only do so much as a Wyvern in this scenario.
Yeah, it takes you have to hit level 2 to even be online, and you're really just October is just such a liability spell in the leading phase. Doesn't really do much of anything as they just sustain right through it.
You have been.
Looks almost gonna be up there first, as they're bringing some even more not gonna have to not worrying about relying on sentries this time around for the side of Secret. They're bringing Dust. They started with 3 sentries top. For this another rune here. 3 seconds.
So this time Nisha. Keep it safe for himself. Nothing on Thompson. Safe for the roll. The dust is out. But he gets taken down, and as Nisha and Yaps are able to dive in under the tower. Big damage onto her.
It's a little bit of a worry though that Thompson is dead twice. He does have the Falcon Blade, he is getting good farm in the mid lane. You know, the panel did talk about it. It's very feast or famine for Thompson. He's either off to a killer start where he's just assassinating everybody, or he's dying a lot. It already has happened twice now. Gonna have to back up and just resort to jump on. Nisha's having a really good
taken down. Chains.
Nice, still fine up here. Full wave. He's able to clear that one out quickly with another one. And Toxic.
Did he get anything in return? He's going to turn Cirrostratus through them running down the Earth Spirit and No-Tail. TP up, jump over to the side, but no, get away. Just get Cirrostratus out of this. OG back off in time.
Get away, you.
That's pretty close. If I lived another fraction of a second or something, he might be able to turn for Black Hole. That was really scary. Good for them that they're able to get away for mid one. WC lanes coming up from Secret though. So Ursa's getting a free start in the game and getting a free start, and your Enigma is not getting punished. He did get punished the once. Third got that both. Weaver is gonna suffer in the lane a lot, as not level 6 just yet. They don't perform up good. The dust was used before by his eye, so they don't have another one for the kill before he 6. Look, I think it really looked to surround his top super. He's gonna start making the swing toward top. He sees that it's an Earth Spirit farming mid. No swings, bungling. There's one. Hotel.
I'm in your debt.
The arcane, he might dive for these. Trying to grab No-Tail, starting to bring him down. This last almost like a fist alone would have just done it. And he's in. And the trees that escape for the wipe. Nisha gets a kill out of it. He's going to look toward him in one.
Courier has been slain.
Beast bomb.
Anyway, tap. Yeah, Thor. A little bit of a slip up there. looking for that. He's looking for no tower. We can see that.
The wild one. What?
It did look really weird for a quick second. It was very, because he was so quick, he picked him up and it was like instant and it got the black hole off, so. Right, bounty reset. Seb, he'll be able to likely get the 2. I actually say that, he's the 1. There's a necrobook archer.
And sweet.
Oh, bounty thing. Yeah. Side will be able to clean that up. So, the 2 for 1 for secret. Yep, sorry, he's leaving the bounty rune top for Nisha to refill the bottle, I think. But it looks like an OG's on the hunt. Thompson has to start making some moves with the Earth too. The top side.
Dropping everything. Without secret coming.
I want them to start getting active with Thompson. Every time he has like a death active up, just start swinging around the Earth Spirit. They have to
Dyer's top tower is feeling its mortality.
And mid-play recovery. That's weird. Mid-lane. Yeah.
Dyer's top tower is under attack. It fights for its radiance bottom tower is under attack. Dyer's top tower is under attack. The Dire have fortified their grove.
Not get out of control.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dyer's top tower is feeling its mortality. Tower is now but
Every time the secret killing it.
Dyer's top tower has fallen.
Clink's a little less scary.
This is a scary moment here for OG. Because every time the Clinks has died, Weaver mid one, he's trying to catch up and farm. And then just all heroes, we're still getting some bottom. First, no Matu, big winner out of all this. He's getting so much more than mid. And mid one, he doesn't have an enabler. He at least thankfully has it's kind of a mini enabler, but he doesn't have anything to buff him. He like iron at the back. Set bottom.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Seb.
By the way.
You sort of said it before. It can be seen as a bit of a replacement to the drop.
I guess he's feeling like he can actually get in by location. He's coming get the play, right? Okay. And Matu, Battle Fury, doesn't have stacks. He accelerates so much from this big one. I don't know how mid one really gets the time to catch back up. I think his team like really has to start they really have to start just making all these moves for the Weaver to get this spin. Super happy with the way that the game has gone.
It's just on paper it just doesn't look easy for the Weaver to carry this right.
And the thing is too, they pick a couple of spins, and it is an Enigma who's going necro over. I feel like for them approaching the team fights in these next few moments when Zai has this, it's gonna be impossible for Weaver and Clinks to get in. Maybe just eating that for just clearing it out. I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be really hard for them. Just fight into the secret when they do get the 5-man death ball with Necro 3.
It's incredibly important that No Tail is able to get.
There's a down. If he didn't know,
but he
just
solo
got hit
killed
on
him.
the
He just died solo to another battle fury. That's all he had. What happened?
Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah. And now Cirrostratus on top of him.
Oh, dearie me.
And something to point out, but I do want to point out because I think it's kind of clever what Zai did with his next 2 summon. The Timbersaw was pushing the bottom wave super hard, and he actually cut the wave behind the Timber, so that there wasn't actually any momentum coming from that push from Seth. So small little things. Book 3's I feel Weaver, their game, their team fight is just impossible. They can't walk in, they'll get rooted, and then they'll just die to even just then. So it is be a pretty hard 5 to 10 minutes where he's gonna have to try to endure the pressure that's coming. And he won't be able to eat the book. Like I said, so Thompson, he does eat that melee book with the death pact, so at least they have that type of counter. Can't die like that though on the Weaver versus Battle Carrier. He's just gonna farm so much faster than you. He's gonna get that next item up. He is deep. He does. Lack of control, really the name of the game in this one.
On top of the battle. They've got 4 here at Secrets. They're ready to hop and OG. If OG tries to dive any further, they won't. Hold on.
I think Thompson just has to literally skip Death Pact for the entire game. Just every time Necro book is up, just walk up and eat that warrior. Is available right now. Sitting on top of the Remnant top, ruins him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. It will fall like a ripe
And there he is,
apple.
he eats it again.
They're going for Roche. They know there's no Wizard's Curse. Pretty much. The curse is very important to really be able to tackle this.
It's a matter of down to that they can effectively fight it. Blink Battlefield, a super enabled Ursa, now has the immortality to be able super hard. And so now Secret run in.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's feeling strong, man.
He is. He's the only person who can disable him. It's only the Earth Spirit. So if they see Toxin shows him up top, they're probably we can just go time it. Like this Earth Spirit is the only form of control on their team. Book is summoned up again. It's surrounded.
He's out of mana. That too. On top of the step. To get out of the step. Closes the gap on his eye. He's over. Keeps him space. Takes him over to side. Gives space for Matthew to finish off Saxa. Keep Zai alive.
Dire's structures are fortified.
That thing they can play pretty reckless in this mid lane.
Tower is under attack.
He has to be careful. Like chain 30 might have to go down. And the tower will drop. And mid one he will need to be able to soak up.
Dire's middle tower is learning
pressure.
Dire's middle tower has
he's able to at
fallen.
least finish up his
No
next item.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
How much it's going to help him? It feels like he needs the next item after that S1. And I don't know what S1
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He wants to do
Radiant's bottom tower is fading fast.
This will make him tanky.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's obviously that very appealing item for pretty much the carry in every game on pretty much every hero. It's definitely interesting to see how different players prioritize it in their build-up. As we do see some, getting us that second, third item. Some they won't get it just to finish off their build.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's like something we do see the Manta to be able to address the fact that there is like Maleficent to be able to dispel the chains too, but Thompson is doing the Manta. Puppy is going to get taken out. Going to burst the eye. Matthew wants to jump back in on this. We're thinking about it. The automatic committing to the array, holding his ground. He's locking down Thompson. He'll get the kill on Society. Hold the Aegis, but there's 4 on OG. Mid one, mid 1-5. Catching with the dust there, looking for the chase. You're going to grab him with the chains, but it was too quick. With the Shuchi, they try to come hunting for him in the trees with that relocate, but mid one is away. So the hero is dying.
tower is
Only
under
Zai going
attack.
down.
Dire
Smooth fight
structures
from
are
Secret.
fortified.
Quick fingers from Zai too. He almost dies instantly to the links. The damage actually from Thompson was pretty crazy, but he gets the black ball. Even a little instance of control allows Matu to get on him. And now Matu, we're talking about a little bit of difficulty. Stick on these targets, stick on this
Dire's
Weaver and this
top
Lynx.
tower
He's
is
got
feeling
Basher
its
already after that.
mortality.
He is absolutely massive.
Bash. The bull whip, so he's ready to chase them down.
Yep. Thompson wants to get this next item pretty quick here. The shard. It will be able to help out a lot, especially since the Enigma would have had the kill. Had those extra guys, and we just had
Down, no tail. Brings down Saxa. It's 19 to 8. 6K lead for Secret. As this game to go the same direction as the first. The Secret, they are completely in charge right now.
this Ursa's just out of control. He can't stand your tower. He has to be easy to away. That's tier 2 that they're gonna have to sacrifice. Big one, he's gonna push out bottom. Watch this die.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. There is little it can do.
Running him back. Nisha's able to punch back just as hard.
Yapsor's on the hunt too. They actually saw him though. Soxa did ping out the fact that Yapsor was swinging over. Should be okay. And Yapsor's looking
Got his own, yeah.
I've got the fucking blade. I've got the damage.
Interference. I mean, that's got the back of the reload. Magnetize off the stage. He's got to find from the area with the back of the
Consider
He
yourself
drops the
lucky.
curse.
A dead
Probably not the
mother.
only curse that he's dropping right now. It's getting looking rough. OG, they've lost 5. And Matthew just needs to clean up. 10-0-5. BKB is surely going to be on the lookout.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
OG, they connected really quick too, but Secret, they showed up with their own force. Yapsor somehow survived during all of it, and Matu and
Dire's
Nisha just,
bottom
they literally
tower
just
is
kill
under
everybody.
attack.
Nisha just uncontrolled in the fight.
Yet
Matu as well.
Dire's
He's always
bottom
picking and choosing his
tower
targets.
is no
Sits back,
more.
waits for the Wyvern. Cold Embrace came out like literally instant. Protect, but
Dire's
just
bottom
the next
tower
target,
hooks
gets
for
back, instantly killed.
Lead just continuing to grow for
Look at poor Top. Just getting bashed. Just getting completely eviscerated. Nisha just swinging in and out. He just gets in and out of the fight. Now to the lane of the advantage. Oh, I have more mid one.
Oh no. He's gonna be alright. Does it let it go?
Tower is under attack.
First the ult, and he goes back. He wouldn't have had the chance to hit the animation, but still, that's bottom down for 40 seconds. Another kill. And
This game is way too out of hand. This Ursa is just... He's just too big. The Clinks and the Weaver.
Dire's bottom
They
tower
have
is
the
under
match.
attack.
The Basher. Too much now.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. It will be a ruin long study.
up, seeing if they find some action out now whilst Matu pushes
They've got the so they can always, if he gets a catch with the tag team with the punch, with the water punch, they will always have the Riddle relocates on top of
Just 2 more easy kills here, but stop her in this game. 28 kills here at 23 minutes in.
They just know exactly where OG is. They're even hanging right now.
Curse is going to be dropped in. He casts on the DPC. Puppy will fall back to the BKB. On to no tail. He'll get one. He's turning towards mid one. He's going to get back. He gets the time lapse up, but it's straight into the snowball. Does it out with the Shikuchi mid one. He's hiding. Matu's spread. there any more bashes here?
He's got
From
blink.
Matu, he's going to be able to blink if he wants to check. He certainly does. He wants mid one. Mid one should be fine though. Shikuchi again able to save him as this time mid one will get out alive.
Get out alive, but lose their Wyvern. If you have no control over. Secret, just wait.
Dire's
Late
top
to lane.
tower is
Kill
under
it.
attack.
Kill.
It fights for its life.
Nisha now almost at full Aghanim. They're trying to get up. But they have to be cautious if he's able to
Tower
get the
is
finish.
under attack.
Got illusion.
But now back up here, they do kill Nisha actually. They're able to get him. The time has been bought. It's scripted turn up back. Great for no doubt. No doubt. I get it. He's still got the big guy. He's gonna pop the shot. Instead of keeping him finally, he's gonna be able to live. He's gonna be able to down that puppy with the save. They've killed off a foot of the Saxon goes down. I mean, it's just too much for OG. It's too much. They cannot.
Was he out of stone? Those two, like, it's a kick because he had no stones left. I think that was the case, right? Because it actually kicked him on the low ground and allowed Poppy to get the range. That might have saved.
I mean, he was so close to going down.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Every little
Dire structures are fortified.
but they're
The
alive.
trees
KDA does not hurt at all.
Yeah, I really think he ran out of stones because he chased super hard to get that hit. Great connection to the box, but yeah, he ended up kicking him bots on the low ground, and maybe it wasn't his name as we see it here. He might have died, yeah, he can't. He has stones to do with it. That
He would have been down. I guess Matthew would still be there on He did it.
as now they're able to get an Aegis, and they're still in a comfortable spot with OG. If they were able to get maybe some potential for them to come back, as now the game is really just completely out of hand. Puppy now has cheese. So all these situations where they get a big kill, it's gonna get turned around if they don't know how to address the Puppy. He's gonna be able to heal them up to full.
Radiant's bottom tower is fading fast. Dire's
Already
top
on the hunt,
tower is
smoking alone. He
feeling
always
its
has that
smoke
feeling,
as the
okay?
middle
And they
tower
have the
has
Abyssal
fallen.
on the earth, which is pretty
Radiant's
guaranteed
bottom
kill if they
tower
can get
is
on top
under
of it.
attack.
Nope. So
Dire's
position
top
though.
tower has been lost to war. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is fading fast. Radiant's
Step back,
top
top
tower
step.
is under
Yeah,
attack.
chases out.
Radiant's bar has grown
I think it
thick.
actually scared Secret for a second. They didn't go for him. They see Thompson for a second though. Thompson does go the right way.
Radiant's
So
bottom
many
tower
sentries
is under
covering his back.
attack. There is little it can do. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
And he's able to jump down to mid one. That's all he needs. That's all he wants. I think we are.
He did get oh my god, that slight just missed him.
That must have been just off the mark. You won't see him. Saxon will get away.
And there's just at this point there's no itemization that the Clinks and the Weaver can do to protect themselves. The Clinks is level 7.
About to get another one out of this. That's Saxon rolling away. I mean, he loses his life, he absolutely. That's some support from that situation, and I guess when you're down 15k, it's going to be favorable.
Yep. Yaps was just being a kind of psycho of this game. I don't think he knows how comfortable in a position they are that he's able to go for those solo plays, just get monsters and clean up some kills. Very sore, as it's not usually the case. You know, we're used to seeing Yaps being more about himself, but he is like 5'2" in this game anyway. So Zai, he's set up for the next target. Thompson was seen up top for a moment. They have ward coverage all around the area too. They actually saw Thompson for a second.
Just chilling in OG OG's triangle. You should have punish him. So comes in, drops it, does. Thompson is at least able to spend up his cash. Ready for next time.
Okay. Yep. Gets the relocation to get an extra kill on Puppy, and he does force all of the far left side. At least OG is going to be able to get some time on the right side. I say they're going to get time, but look at Matu. He's just a single-man force running into the enemy triangle.
I mean, he really is. He's just running. He's able to just step up, take down Triple kill, Matuma Man, as his game continues. 20-0-11. Pretty much got the money for the Swift Blink. He's level 25. Perfect.
Yep. Okay, the top show with his Ricky. This one is compliment show. He's level 25.
Dire's middle tower is learning to fear.
22k now worth of 30 minutes. Yeah, that's
Dire's middle tower is under attack. No gale can stop the fortified their growth.
What can they do about him, OG? Ready for the base defense. Really not wanting to spend his buyback as gold already landing behind that.
Set up more skeletons again. So he's got 4 up right now, and he is doing decent damage. He has the quiver. That does force Monty back a bit.
Deceptive rune of invisibility.
Give some respect to G for their defense. I'll finish the next few items as I Blink done.
There as well. Still in the patch fastest here from that too.
Yep. Definitely the best Thirsty game thing I've ever seen. Honestly. Ripping them all to shreds with ease is
Action up here. They're gonna follow Puppy. Go Scepter. He's fine. Roll away, Matthew. This was the one. Takes it out, Dustin. Lock them down. No chance from him wanting another fight.
and they're relocating. They're cutting.
Sacks up. Oh, he's very far away with that cliff movement.
Now he surfed the there. That was pretty dope.
Grinded along the cliff.
Yeah. But Matu, he sees another target. He saw Blink show himself in the mid lane. So he starts running at him immediately.
There we go again. Look at the distance covered here. There's no chance of catching this spirit.
It looked really cool. We see it. Usually you end up like flying off the map. Visual thing, but it's not so much in the game for them as OG
Dire's
still.
middle barracks stand on the knife.
One mid, one especially. Never able to do anything in the game. 2, 7, and 5. No one's dead.
Tears him apart.
My God. He's setting up the army.
Dire's top tower is under attack. If Dire's top tower doesn't
That Matuma Man. Nah, he's gonna get mad.
Dire's top barracks have slipped.
Jump towards the back lines, mid whatever. somehow.
He took that fight really nicely, actually. Maybe to being a little bit too eager, just standing up there, taking up too much damage. They have to relocate and reset themselves. So while that relocate happens, Nisha commits it, and then the Black Hole goes off to try to follow him. The Earth he was still getting relocated back. OG with the numbers, able to actually take the fight for the first time in this game. 5 minutes.
The back end on OG, Mibon wasn't caught in the Black Hole, so he was able to still do a significant amount of damage. As we see it here, out to the side, sure, he locks them down, but Mibon's still by the time the battle's ended. Zai is
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He did a great job kiting this fight. I just was watching him for the moment, really getting
they
in and
couldn't
out
quite
of it.
get him.
Yeah, stick on the targets. They did a great job. Now they finally
There is still much to be done.
That's what we need in the game.
Radiant's top tower has shattered.
Pretty tall mountain to climb for this game. That looks nice.
Need a few more of these. Fair few more of these. But they've already managed to shut a 27k. 17. So they're definitely it's bottom lane. Shut. Define it. Dodge that. Saxon.
He's still a very tough kill. You know, the only reason that Nisha did die is because he committed with all of his defense to get into that fight there. Usually he should be able to just swing himself out because he's 33 on. He's also level 25 too. He's got Elven Tunic. He's got all this evasion and stuff. So he is very tanky. Just did overcommit a little bit. So he can hand a bit. Still in a very comfy spot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's gonna spawn. Kill it with close to start committing.
Radiant's bottom tower is fading
I don't know if
fast.
you can actually swing over there.
They can't get her in time against these.
And you can actually expecting them to. He hasn't started yet. He just keeps prepping the overpower for someone to chip on this ward.
I want them to come up. Yeah.
I think they just fought back. So if he sees Thompson, kills Thompson, like, game over, right?
Yeah.
There's no clinks then. So yeah, really looking to they're sending the necro books around ward to see if there's anyone invis kind of get out. Very in here. See. They're under big smoke, but it's under that vision of OG. OG is.
I mean, and for OG, do you want to take it?
Doesn't seem like a great place to fight for BKB. Seems like a really tough way to actually approach it.
He will live and die again.
I just anyway.
Damage onto the Ember Max too. But for the chance to get back in on this, which is from the high ground.
Midwood's starting to hurt. He's got that extra geminate too. And now he is hitting hard. Waiting for an opportunity.
He's got enough damage. The Golden Break will come out. He's been left in the front of this all as they're able to pick it off as well. He's out for 100.
Burst at any moment.
Oh my god, and now the Clinks also hits level 25. The buybacks again. OG, they did have to use 3 to just join back into the fight to protect themselves, but a pretty decent one is Matu. He's done for 8 seconds. The army of skeletons that Thompson was able to lay
so
down.
much damage.
By the way. It really was. Like Nisha.
Structures are
very quickly.
the stream tells of tactics.
Fend them off. 2 heroes down.
Radiant's middle tower has collapsed. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks have fallen. Radiant's bottom
see what item turn. You got the help of Dominating too. You get yourself a huge creep with high HP and eat it, and then you have 25, so just 50%, 70% damage bonus too. Pretty huge. He's gonna have the creep available to eat now. OG in these last few fights have been taken with game back. But now, as we mentioned, they have no buybacks on absolutely anyone. So they have to be really careful in this next fight. They're really bringing it to Steve. Matu, he sticks protected. He starts getting kited around when he starts getting focused on by the Weaver and Clinks. He needs a little more help.
Yeah, that's in set now. This how the Dominant is there. I think.
Huh? Does he have creep ready? He does, right? Right next to him. There you go. 5k HP. Look at his image on the clip.
5k HP.
He's hitting well over 500. This might be enough to just kill the Enigma. Like, sure, you don't have a BKB cancel. Kill him in his last one. If Thompson's not caught in it. This damage might be too overwhelming for surrounding.
Not allowing opportunities for him. Right click him down. Thompson immediately uses fire. He's going to be able to find himself a DD rune.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Under like post black hole, and he stands his ground and survives throughout all of it, and still survives a little bit afterwards. Matu does go down, still a good fight. Jeez, this is a scary game. Look at that. Let's do 700. I don't even know. 800 damage right now. 700.
Come on. Nice.
I know. Hey, the quiver too. Come on. And
Okay.
that's
a boss.
Gets the DD dispelled. 25 seconds still. The full squad's back. No. He's got the ninja gear. He's keeping himself. They need Toxin. They have to back. There's no way they can go fight with the Deer Spirit. Nice slight dodge there. He picked up a Lincoln Spear, I believe, as his last item, and he did get a Spell Prism, so really fortunate items that he got. And looking at Zai, I think, like, my god, Klink's tanked a whole midnight post black hole. I need a second pulse. He's almost got it.
That was going to be a solid counter to this sort of incredible KHP hero that Thompson can become.
Black hole gets cancelled. He has to be very, very careful. No, he's been in position a lot of these times to be able to do so. And he's had a hard game. Like, Notail's 215. He is really just getting focused fired by Matu. And Matu does need to do size. Him really go both ways now at this point.
Shaky situation when it comes to the buybacks, of course.
Yep. They did use Hobson's in that. That's absolutely true. They do have a couple of those other ones to think back. Hobson's really feels like it's by far the most important.
I mean, at this point as well, the way that OG been able to hold on, do OG need to be aggressive or can that sort of play this way to
It's so scary. Like, if Thompson literally just gets KB, if he just dies to a black hole, the game is probably just over. So it's to make those type of plays with them. straight vision of them. If they get vision of them, perhaps they could look for a smoke play, but they only have these two wards bottom. At least sees the risk. If they want to make that play, you know, you gotta go the fact that it's high risk, high reward. With no buyback still for a very long time, 4 minutes. They're getting aggressive though. They're looking to play around that vision at the moment.
Just buying time here. Buybacks to be in a bit more of a comfortable spot. This mid one's back in 10.
I think Secret was also trying to farm their buybacks. They didn't have the gold unlocked. You know, level 27, level 28, these buybacks are they committed most of their gold. Now they have it ready, so now they will have an extra force as well. As you see, the Helmet Dominator in shit running down mid.
In the position they were finding themselves very early this game. Mid-bot and Stats can make any sort of kickoff ready to break apart this potential Secret.
They have to come off some type of epic here. It's 107. Look, Secret scout up this push. It's not up. It's at a 40. But they're gonna look to run down the lane right now. Starting with the spawn. He gets the black ball onto the 3. They don't have to kill pretty quickly, but it does enough of the controlling. This mid will taken out and step. And then Thompson's just alone. Sure, he's got his little army of his skeletons, but versus these 3, no hope. Secret walking up onto the high ground. Big gold injection too. Monster now 6 gold. It's not back for it's the whole duration.
Chains on Mid-1 still happy to hold his ground.
They can secure areas. They still have 50 seconds without the push. Size is spawning as well. They can't actually go back to join his team.
They're a little scared.
Back away.
They don't want to try and commit for the Megas. The plan is
the Roche, they have their couriers in Roche, so they're going to just a cheese, refresher shard, and an Ags. Sweet. Batu, Michael, himself the shard. Ags and a shard.
He's easily got the money to do so.
He's gone for the collector. Very effective this game versus those mobile heroes. Timber, Weaver, Clinks, Earth Spirit. Super late pickup, but it will prove pretty effective. There's no BKBs. They only have like mantas and Ys to prevent any of those roots. And yeah, Ags on Earth. Who else got what?
Mages on Earth.
An Enigma. Cheese probably there. Where is Cheese? Go! Hey, it's on What's going on? A DD? Ooh, DD spawn stop.
Ooh, there we go. We go.
Got it.
36,000 gold lead now. 63 to 26.
Somehow OG is still holding on. This time around it was a 27k lead. Push it back down.
Damage empowers me.
Nearly sort of half that. Now the challenge is
They haven't really picked up any other items either, really. Like, Thompson has 4k, but they've had to keep using these buybacks constantly to come back into the fights to have a chance in them, so they haven't really picked up.
1 and 80 without Saxa.
At mid one, the play that he goes there with Sox, if they try to take Zai out of the equation, just kill him before anything, but he just midnight pulls black holes into a. They actually just dodge for the attempt, pushing him away. And now he pops the refresher shard immediately. He's got another black hole already.
Yes, he's coming.
And it's just the timber and the clinks.
Yeah.
So he's gonna either one of those.
One of those. Definitely end the game here. If it's not going to end already. Secret with 44k lead, ready to claim.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
See what OG's got left for themselves. That's it.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
They gotta just watch.
Dire's bottom
Wait
barracks
till they
are
have the
under
Wyvern
attack.
before you do get caught.
Dire's
At
bottom
least you have a way
barracks
to
no
prevent.
longer stand. Bottom barracks have fallen.
Sign. I'm in that post down. He knows the Saxon tried to reclaim. He's in trouble. He needs help, but he needs it now. Corner Grace helps him from the
how they took those later fights, though, being at this huge deficit. I think Secret may be getting a little too overzealous with Matu, like, TPing out in their faces, and they get turned, and then game goes a little bit longer than they probably wanted on Secret, but my God, Matu. That might be one of the most crazy kill scores I've ever seen. I think Raven at